All right, here we go. Let's get started. So what's the plan for today, apart from updating the title of the stream? So let me get straight to that. Today we're gonna do memory management. So the last time I focused mostly on terrain generation and yeah, chunk loading. But after the chunks have been loaded, something bad happens. The memory gets filled up. And also I've noticed this really nasty jittery behavior, and that is because of numerical precision issues. So going into render doc, I've looked at the pixels, and what happens is that when you zoom into one of the changing bits here, if you look closely, like when I pick this purple one, we notice that the number here at the bottom is 1, and when I go to the right pixel it's 0, so it keeps jumping back and forth between 0 and 1, and that basically happens because that's the coordinate that is not changing. So the way I approached this is in the shader. So in order to get that nice gradient which shows me nicely the cubes, but the problem is that when I create many cubes like this, and then I have a grid of points. So the grid of points is made of vertices, and let's say we have those vertices, and when you create a face like this one, it's made of 2 triangles, and the 2 triangles share the same vertices. So for this triangle, it's going to use vertex 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. And this triangle is also using vertex 0 and 5 and 1. And this is fine because it's part of the same face. What color should this be? This can be red 0, and here the gradient will go up to red 1, and that is fine. But when we go to the next triangle, this guy here, it's gonna start with the first vertex, which has a red of 1, but instead we want it to be back to 0. So what we can do is use the frac function, which is just the fractional of a floating point number, and set the floating point number to span from 0 to 4. This way we can get not 0 to 4, yeah, 0 to 4. This way we can get the fractional part, which will go from 0 to 1 here, and from 1 to 2, but the fractional part will always be from 0 to 1, and then from 0 to 1 again, because, well, that's the fractional part, which is the part after the column. Okay, but what happens is that the fractional part of the third coordinate, in this case, this is fine. So these two coordinates are fine. But then there is a third coordinate for this face. And the same happens for the faces that are on the top. They have the z and the x value that are nice gradients. But then there is the y value, the negative y in this case, or the positive y. Yeah, let's just keep everything consistent. So the positive value is not really changing between those variables. And so what happens is that they are just numerical errors. And those numerical errors appear as noise. So this is why. I thought there was something bad with the setup, especially with the multi-sample, but that's not the case. And well, yeah, this is just it. I'm not bothering too much about this anyway. What I want to focus, it's rather this error here. So I've started implementing the buffer-free method, which on destruction is just going to check if the buffer has even been allocated, and then it will just proceed in the destruction. And the destruction just looks like just VMA destroying the buffer. But what the error says, and it keeps repeating, is that vk destroy buffer can't be called if on vk buffer, the cube vertex buffer that is currently in use in the buffer command, in the command buffer render frame. So we have a problem where we are trying to destroy a buffer that is currently in use, and nothing bad happens really, because probably the driver in course is the driver that's is not complaining too much about it, but it could be a problem on other drivers. So how do we fix that? Well, first, in the destruction, we don't want that to happen right away. We need to make sure the data is not used anymore, and we need to keep track of when this has been submitted. So when is the last time that it's going to be used, and then we can, instead of destroying it, we can probably just send it to destruction. So I'm gonna leave the destroy function because that is that's going to be useful. I'm not even sure if I want to destroy. Yeah, I might gonna leave this here because the buffer itself can be destroyed. What it shouldn't happen is that it gets destroyed here. Yeah, so there are two kind of solutions here. One is the buffer awareness. So the buffer itself knows that in order to destroy the underlying buffer when it's gone, it will need, but the buffer itself doesn't know when it is used. So let's try to analyze the problem here. Is that we have a frame, and the buffer is in use in this frame. Let's say this is our little buffer, and the buffer has been updated or created here at the beginning of the frame. And right after it's been submitted, we have a new frame because they are kind of parallel. We don't really know when those things happen. Well, let's just say everything submission-wise, everything happened here. So this is still CPU world, and then it submits the work to the queue, and then the queue executes. But the CPU is free already, so it is going to work on the next submission. But this is where the chunks get updated. And this buffer, well, I mean, this is just, let's say this is a pointer to the buffer. And this is the actual buffer with lots of vertices inside. And what this is going to do is it wants to replace the buffer here to something else. But at the same time, it also wants to destroy this one. So this is going to terminate this, and at this point it no longer exists. So we don't want it to be terminated. It is fine if the new buffer is allocated. Why is it not Control Shift Z like every normal program, but instead is Control Y? Anyway, so what we need to do at this point is that when the whole buffer gets like it's sent to be destroyed, but we also need to add a little tag here that says, okay, it's being used in this queue. And when this is done, then you can destroy it here. This is gonna kill it. So how do we know when this is completed? We have something in place already, which is the in-flight frames fences. Oh, hello, 42. You don't. Now I know. Now I know. But I've got to focus on the memory. I'm checking the chat, but you know, I need to spend more time on checking the code. Well, I could put like something like this. I could make it so the chat is in an overlay. Unfortunately, it uses too much of my screen. I should get another screen, to be honest. But it doesn't fit on my desk. For the moment, at least. Okay. So when should that happen? Let's go back to the rendering here. So we have a present, and present, we have refactored the present to be cleaner, but now we really need it back again. So the present is handled by the XR and the flat Vulkan separately. This is not the cleanest way to do it, but it's kind of what we have right now. So how do we tell the two objects that there is something to be destroyed? And how do we even know about the fences? So this is going to wait for the fences. it is going to wait to the fence at this index, which is the one that we're going to use. And we can say that all of the objects waiting to be destroyed on this index, they can be destroyed now. So whenever the same index presents itself again, and that is what is going to happen, and then when do we destroy things? Well, no, that's not when we destroy things, but rather when we set things that are in use. So things that are in use should be set in the draw call, which is here. And we need some way to know at which index things are being used. So we might need to change the signature of present, or at least the callback. Let's see, we need to access, yeah, maybe from here, frame context. Okay, it could be in the frame context. Yeah, it could be, that could be a good place. Hello, hello. So how are you doing, X? 42X. If you missed the beginning, so I'm trying to clean up some memory because I've been generating chunks regardless of tidying things up. Whenever they get destroyed, the chunk gets destroyed, but the memory wasn't destroyed, so I added the destructor to the buffer object, and now what is happening is that whenever the buffer is destroyed, the validation is telling me that hey, that buffer is still in use. So the way things are happening right now are not very correct, and I should, for each chunk, attach when they were in use, because after things get submitted, you don't really know when they are done, and we don't really care when they are done, really. Glad you can relax a bit now. This is my beginning of the day, so I wake up a bit early, and yeah, I relax. Coding, something I like a bit. This is kind of relaxing. It's a bit of a brain work, but it's more of a gym, like exercising, the brain exercise with the rewards. So in the frame context, I should also tell who is. It would be nice to have a semaphore, like, yeah, a semaphore for object destruction. So only destroy the object after the semaphore signals it. So that way, I would have an object signal like from the queue. I wonder if that even exists. Can I sync a Vulkan object destruction with a semaphore? Oh, that would be a good question. No, you cannot. Thanks. I think that is enough of an answer. Wait for the fence and then destroy. Yeah. Queue idle. Device wait idle. But guarantees no work in flight. Now that is too much. So garbage. Yeah, this is the way I would love it to happen. Okay. Okay, this looks like it's 7:34 p.m. Oh, we are opposite. Basically, it's 7:36 for me right now. But a.m. So it's got a garbage. And let's see the further distraction. Yeah, that is the way I was thinking to do it. And trucks per frame resource. Hmm. So how do you even know, like, okay, let's say you want to destroy it now. Maybe one can wait the next cycle of the in-flight frames. That could be a bit of a delay, but it could give you a spike. And yeah, that wouldn't be the most correct way of doing it, but it would definitely work. So if you wait for the full cycle to be back to the beginning, you would definitely make sure that nothing is in use anymore. Hmm. So if I want to destroy something, I could easily wait on the presentation index to be the same again. Frame context, wait for fences, okay. And that's the callback. Yeah, let's try with a fence index rather than wait for. No, we don't really want to use a fence direct. Can I wait on a fence twice? So can I wait on a fence multiple times? By the way, let me close this. Hey Jibity, can I wait for a fence multiple times? Yes. Well, I know you don't really want to. Do I want to wait? No, I don't want to wait for that fence. Should I maybe use a deferred thread or an asynchronous thing? Nah. That would be too much of a complexity. Let's see, should I wait on a separate garbage collection thread? Yeah, that's a real good question. Wait on the render thread. Get fans status. Okay. Yeah, I could fetch. Don't really need to. Easy, predictable. Okay. That looks like a good solution. So I could like pass the fence, as long as it's not destroyed, and then wait for the fence and not query the fence. I just need the fence to be passed here. Okay, the fence that is gonna signal. Does it exist? So the present happens here and the render happens here. Frame, yeah, that should exist. In the present, we get to call the callback, and we already reset the fence, so we can wait on it. I would say we can do that. It's a green light. So let's go to frame context, and I want to add a VK fence. That's just the Q fence. The fence. Should I just frame context complete fence? Complete fence. Okay. So this is the fence associated with the frame. Well, let's just say fence. And before display, I can set the fence to be the one that is in use right now. And the same happens for the XR. In the present, before the display time, we got the fence. Is it the same way? Okay, yeah. Cool, so the fence is now in place. All I have to do is to check whether in the render, yeah, I need no do I need to add it to the the render already has the frame context. Okay, that's nice. So we have update. We have the updates going on. Update in the command. So the update command on the buffer. So this buffer is in use. And it needs a fence to synchronize upon. Or maybe not. So let's say the buffer needs to be destroyed in this frame. All I have to do is to wait for this frame to be completed. Everything is going to be delayed by one frame. But that could be fine enough. So this happens here. Let me quickly jump to the update chunks. So update chunks happen at tick. And I would say not, because update chunks will now need a way to get rid of buffers. So update chunks needs to be controlled. Update chunks, it does generate chunks, and generate chunks will just override. So here, when it replaces a chunk, the old one gets cleared up. And before that happens, we need to destroy with a fence. And here is where we want to add. So let me get a bookmark for this place and add a garbage vector so we can keep track of what we want to remove. So there will be a vector of buffers. Delete buffers. Is this it? Like delete buffers? And maybe a fence. Let's do a pair. That's going to be a fence and a buffer. Okay. Sounds nice. And whenever we want to clear that up, we just go to the delete buffers and place a pair, and we need to get the fence. So generate chunks, need the fence to be passed over to here all the way. Generate update chunks, and generate chunks doesn't need to be happening here. Update, yeah, the update and the generation should just be one thing. Yeah, there is no really need for two functions, because the first step is to update the current sector, and then there's the next step where it generates the chunks. And we can pass here the frame context. Cont frame vk frame cont what is the name? What is the name of the frame context? Frame context. Oh, utils. Okay. So vk utils. Why is my keyboard going nuts? Utils frame context. And here we can pass the frame context, the fence, and the chunk buffer. How do we get the buffer? It's got two buffers, okay. So there's a vertex buffer, and how do we release them? Well, this is a shared pointer, okay. Yeah, let's make it shared pointer then. Or how destroy. Yeah, how do we make this clean without tangling the code too much? It's a vertex buffer. It returns the shared pointer. Okay, so we can make a copy of the shared pointer. That should be safe. Yeah, that sounds like a good approach. Probably not super clean, but that should work for the moment. I just need to change this to be a shared pointer. Why my keyboard is so broken? Okay, am I missing something? Good. So we have the vertex buffer. And what's wrong now? Function as... Okay, so this is an in place and it's gonna take them separately. We get the chunk and the index buffer. Off, obviously, before deleting everything. That should be it. Chunk. Maybe we just need to check if they actually exist. We don't want null pointers, do we? So if it's null, I don't know. So next in the render, we want to check. No, did it already reset? Because we don't want it to reset the. We don't. Let me very quiet. No. Yeah, no worries. That's it's fine as long as you're enjoying the thought process. I hope something good will come out of this, because right now it's code all over the places. So we have the vector of things that we want to delete. I just need to find the right place. So we don't want the fence to be already reset, because otherwise we can't really wait on it. And the reset happens on the present. And before the present, we need to do the garbage collection. And I guess that can happen here. Yeah, this would be good for both of them. So let's do the garbage collection. Garbage collect. And the garbage collect function, we want it to be, well, as close as possible. Like we don't want it to be too far away from where it gets used. Maybe just below, so the ticks are all together. And this is going to be a void garbage collect, no exception, and for each auto gar, well, this is what is we can, yeah, I think we can destructure the VK, the fence, and the buffer. Delete buffers. Okay, we destructor it. Then we do a VK wait for fence that we can copy right from here. Wait for fence. Well, not that one. Let's go to the next one. Yeah. Exactly like this. So we do a wait for fence. Have we got a device? VK device. Like this. VK. Well, I mean, we have that. We don't need a function. VK device. Okay. And the device should be the same. Is it? Is it the same? Yeah, it must be the same because it gets copied. And the fence is going to be our fence. We already have here. Wait indefinitely. Use view keys. What is this? No. No, this is not what I wanted. I need both of them. And then I can say buffer dot destroy. Or maybe not. Let's just clear the delete buffer clear. Yeah, wait for all the fences and then clear. Garbage collect is being called. We are missing only the generation because I removed the call for that. Static time. Is time even being used? Yeah, this is not used anywhere. No. I'm lost. Can I delete the time variable? Maybe. Does it compile? Let me check if it even compiles for now. And let me tidy up MySpace. Not that MySpace, but this MySpace. Okay. Give it more space. And then view, appearance, zoom in. Let's go 150. Is that too much? Yeah, let's go 150. Okay. That should be a bit more readable now. No, I did build it. I didn't get if it finished building. Okay, it built it. Everything is fine. Let's just go back to the generate chunks, and we want that to happen here probably. Generate chunks and give the frame context. Okay. Yeah, that's fine. Generate chunks. And we said render is const, but this is not const. This will change things. So maybe we don't want it here. Render should be const, yeah. Let's try to keep it that way, and render is called here at the present, at the presentation, and maybe the generation we want to happen we need it to happen where where the frame context is available, which is for sure at the presentation. Even though we might want this to happen at different stages, really. But for now, let's just keep it in here and copy, and I'm gonna put it in here too. Generate chunks, it's the first thing that happens, and let's see everything collapsing. Is everything gonna break? No. That's surprising. That is surprising. Oh wow, look at that. No more errors. We are navigating through our infinite space and nothing is breaking. That looks super cool. Okay. And we traveled through sectors. Everything is fine. And will this work on the headset? So let's go to the headset and let's run it. The chunk size should be small enough so it doesn't break the headset. Building. And again, I'm using a Quest 4. Look at my nice tiles. This reminds me of my old house. Who ever thought this was a good texture? How many times I got how is it called, the guitar, the thing that the plastic thing that you use for playing guitar? I don't remember what's the English for that. The plectrum. Okay, yeah. How many plectrums I've lost in those tiles? Oh, weird. It behaves surprisingly well in here, but not super good on on the desktop. Okay, it's not bad. It's just the scale. The scale is too small. Everything feels like tiny, but that's fine. I wonder if I can stop and debug here, because the next thing that I wanted to do is to read the thumbstick from the controllers, which would allow me to navigate a bit easier in the space. And to do that, I need to go to the XR module. I already had something in place. So here there should be in a sync. Yeah, right here. So the right thumb, if it's active, then should give me some reading. Maybe I can just log the value of the readings. Which is going to be right thumb x equals to a floating point, and then y equals to floating point. And thanks for the completion. That's exactly what I wanted. So this way I won't have to debug. And instead, I can just try it out and see from the controllers. I love the MetaQuest casting, but I hate that I cannot resize it. It is just this big and it fills half of my screen. Almost ready. So I'm getting readings. That's nice. It is working. So on the Y up. That's cool. Y down. Okay, we have readings. And it's not gonna clash with, with the left thumbstick. That is nice. So since we have the readings, I can just complete the forwarding of the data. And I don't want to do that on Android Studio because it's all broken. I'm gonna switch it back to Sea Lion. Heading to the XR module. And right before the definition of the class, I had a couple of structures. So the touch controller state with the buttons, which are very similar to what I had here for the gamepad. But since the difference in nature, I'm gonna have this only for the XR. And here already had that controller state for the left, and swap the vector 2 to the structure and have the right controller. Head over to where I was before. Here, when we do the sync, I'm gonna say hand pose. Well, even the hand pose, I could just embed it in in the controller state. So here I'm gonna say that we have, well, I don't have to declare it. We already have them declared, so I can just instead of this, I can just say left controller dot thumbstick left. Well, it's only got one thumbstick, so yeah. Maybe I should review the structure of this. So the controller state, touch controller state. Well, it's okay, it's not per controller at this point. Should it be per controller? Because then they don't really match. Yeah, let's I just want to pass one of them. So it's more similar to the gamepad. In the end, it's kind of a gamepad. So that is controller. And controller is gonna have a left thumbstick, which is not left thumbstick. Okay, it's yeah, if it was a floating point, it was a float before, which made it, which I had to declare two items for it. And now let's do a copy for the Y. And the same thing happens here. Controller right. So this is the right. Okay, we have both. And when we do the update, sync input, XR mode, we get the gamepad, flying angles. We have the gamepad. Yeah, how do we? Well, it can be gamepad and also the touch controllers. Sync input, XR mode. Yeah, it could be both of them. Yeah, why not? I mean, one could have the gamepad and the touch controllers at the same time. There's nothing that stops that from happening. I just need a function to read to get the controller state, and that will happen in the getters. So we will have now a no discard function that returns a const touch controller state reference touch controller, and it's gonna return controller. That's it. Touch controllers. MXR, and here we got the touch controllers. No need to capture because they also exist in here. So XR, touch controllers, and touch controllers here too. After gamepad, let's update those functions. We have an XR touch controller state. That's going to be touch. Const. And basically do the same thing. So this is for the gamepad. Absolute right thumb. I also copy the absolute. Touch. And there will be make vec2. It is already a vec2, so no need to cast it further, which is touch dot right. Yeah, dot right. Well, we don't even need to make a temporary variable. It's already in this in the right type. Are you using a game engine or are you writing your own? Hey Poseidon, this is from scratch. This is from main. So the entry point is a good old. It's a good old into main. So this is how everything gets started. We get the window context then, which is kind of a structured main. We create the window, then we create the context. It tries to create an XR context, an open XR context, and then the XR context will also take care of creating the appropriate Vulkan settings. Then this gets passed to the Vulkan object, so it can be used in the Vulkan context as well. So not everything is in the XR. Creates all the different objects. We got the swap chain. We begin the session, and yeah, that's pretty much it. This is for Windows, so we grab the Windows events, and there is also the Android side. So we have the Android main as well. This is going the native game activity, which is kind of an improvement over the native activity. We have the Android context, which is same as the Windows context. It does pretty much the same things. It creates a session, begin a session, end the session. It handles the game controller and the touch controllers. Handles the event from the operating system, and that's pretty much it. There's some encoding here, but we don't need it right now. It's for streaming later on. And yeah, so it is from scratch, as it should be. And I'm lost. What was I doing? Okay, yes. So we got the thumbstick. And why are you complaining? Because this already exists. And we're gonna say touch the absolute, pass it over here, pass it over here. And once we have the absolute, we can use the normal value. And that should allow us to use the right thumbstick. And we also want to be able to use the const xr touch controller state. We want the same thing to happen here. That state. Wait, that zone. Okay, we did the absolute right away here. And this is going to use the left thumbstick from the touch. So 0 is x. We're going to end up with touch.left thumbstick.x. And we can copy it over. Then we do the same for the y. We're almost there. And with this, we should also have navigation. What if I used the simulator instead? That would make things a bit quicker. Yeah, let me enable the simulator. The simulator is a nice application from Meta, which is a runtime implementation, and it makes it very easy to test your application locally. So once it is active, I can just run, and instead of running it windowed, it recognizes that there is a headset, which is just a fake headset, and then nothing compiles. Oh yeah, this one doesn't have a touch, does it? No, it doesn't have a touch. So I will just I'm gonna just pass an empty object. That should do right. Ooh. Let's see. Empty should have everything 0, so yeah, it should not behave wrong. Xbox controller. Let's connect the headset. No headset connected. Okay, connect physical. Warning, this will terminate the running application. Yes, proceed please. Okay, now it is installing. It's installing an APK on the headset, which will forward my controller's data, and I can use the controllers, and nothing is happening. Calibrate controllers. Move by thumbstick. Yeah, let's see. Move by thumbstick. Okay, so the thumbsticks are working. But maybe I have to restart, because I don't want to override the movement. Not connected. Headset is running. Connect. Okay. They are connected. But hey. So I'm moving through sectors, but the rendering is not. The rendering is not applying the changes. It is traveling through sectors. Yeah. Huh, that's weird. Oh wait, something happened. That was odd. So let's move even further. Okay. The what? The camera's not moving. Okay, maybe I need to update something. The camera is not moving. So in the XR mode, camera position, touch controllers, okay. Update flying camera position. Thumbstick left, okay. Camera position, yeah. I mean, looks it looks fine. Because I'm not you. Oh, okay, in OpenXR, yeah, that's okay. That's makes total sense. Not using the actual transformation from the movement to move the camera. So this has been disabled. Rotation, translation. So that's because from the frame view, we need to multiply by the inverse of these things. So this is a transformation that we want to also capture. And where should that happen? I don't know. Let's just give it a go. So we need the inverse of this new transformation, which is a new viewpoint. That should give us the new position. And I might start. Okay, the WASD is not working. Are these supposed to even work? Maybe not. Connect physical devices. Let's see. Now, these are not working. Not in the slightest. Ugh. Frame view. Because yeah, I'm computing it, but then I'm not using the data. Okay, let's start over again. And in the next stream, I will start doing some texturing because yeah, this is nice, but man, it's getting bored. Nothing. Okay, I cannot interact with the with the mouse or the controller, but I can connect. And yes, well, we are moving. That's great. And what happens with it? Okay, it is something. It's even though it's not exactly what is. So the left and right is not really doing much. Left and right, why is it not doing the expected? So in the rotation, camera angles, X and Y, absolute, X and Y, touch, X and Y, maybe there's something wrong here. Sync. Okay, sync pose, X and Y, X and Y. Everything seems to be alright. X and Y, X and Y. I was afraid that I copied something and Then why is it only moving in one direction? So that's the absolute. And if the absolute is greater than angles.x and angles.y. Well, that's puzzling. Maybe I can debug. Yeah, let's do a quick debug session. And connect to the headset. Okay, controllers are working. I can turn. It behaves really strange. Yeah, it feels like can't really. It's trying to do something, but there's some opposing force. Weird. Oh wait, is it because I have these enabled? No, I thought it was double transforming it. Up and down is fine. Up and down is fine, but then no, there must be something weird going on. Okay, let's stop in the update function where we have access to the controller's data. So it all starts here. So we do the sync. I even want to stop in the sync. Sync input, and then there should be a sync pose. Go back. Sync input. Where does the sync pose happen? Oh, okay. Never mind. That probably happens somewhere else. No, I didn't want to stop now. Let me do. No, let me do. Okay. So this is going very strong. And now we're gonna stop it. We should have in the touch controller, XR touch controller, go inside, step in. Okay, controller. In the controller, left. Oh, what is this value? Thumbstick left. I was using the right. So the left should be, oh. What? Grip left. This doesn't sound right. Maybe because it's just not initialized. Yeah, probably wasn't initialized. But now we should have the touch left. Okay. X is 1. It was all the way to the right. And Y was pretty much 0. And the left is... yeah, the left was not being used. And gamepad should not have any effect. It's all zeros. And absolute is 1 and 0. That's great. So given that we have some x, steering speed, dt, and camera angles, it's 0.02. It's gonna go to 0.0. Yeah, whatever. It probably changed a little. It's radians of dt, which is small value, and this is 90 degrees. Okay, that is not enough. Camera angles x. I don't know. It looks good. Everything looks fine to me. Head rotation. Well, I don't know. Should I apply it? Maybe in the reverse order. Gonna try random things now. Connecting to the controllers again. And rotation is just not working. It is weird. Yeah. Okay. Never mind. I can test it on the device and see if the view itself have any issue. Because at this point, I wonder if the view is going to work fine. So let's do this. When there are issues with the rotations, there is always the fear that something is not going to work correctly. And meta XR data forwarding connection status not connected. I think you can go. Come on, did it fail building? Okay, no, it is working. Okay, we are in. Okay, the view seems to be fine. That's already a good sign. Can move forward. Oh wow, this is awesome. Wow, I love it. It's great. It looks nice. I'm pretty sure my son will have a lot of fun on this as soon as he wakes up. Cool. We're generating an infinite world. We shouldn't get any warnings, I hope. Oh no, we don't have validation active. The frame rate is not super steady. We are running at 120 right now. CPU level is 0, pretty much doing nothing. And GPU level, it's also very low, 1. I don't think it can go lower than that. But we are in debug mode, so I don't really expect it to be doing much. The chunk generation, it's indeed the chunk generation is generating a bit of a hiccup, but it's not even noticeable. Like I can move around and the frame rendering is super steady. And what happens? It does look nice. I'm pretty sure it will look even better when I add textures. Let's see. Ow! Oh, oh boy. What happened? I just touched the controllers. What is going on? I am rotating around an axis that I don't even know. Oh, that's the world. Okay, I'm rotating around an axis that I have no idea where it is. Yeah, rotation should not really be used. Let's push things a bit forward, a little bit. I want to increase the number of chunks that I'm generating. So in the chunk generation here, no, generate, not that, draw. I lost a bookmark. Generate chunks. Yeah, I lost this bookmark. So the number of neighbors, I make it 4 times 4, and that will be a total of 5 times 5 times 5, 125 chunks, each with 8 by 8 by 8 blocks, times 8 times 8 times 8. There's a total of, it's not that much. 8 by 8 by 8. 64,000 blocks. Well, not all of them are full, so it would be way less than that. I feel like we can even push it further. Yeah. But let's do one step at a time. I didn't run, so why am I even wearing the headset? Rerun this. Is this a new one? Did it finish building? Yes, installed. And this is the new one. I feel like it can go, we can go even further, but the frame rate already dropped quite a bit. Really, it really dropped a lot. Like we are way over budget already. That's weird. The budget is not that high. It's not like it's going too slow, but it's not 120 frames per second anymore. And we are rendering, how many things are we rendering? Well, it's hard to tell. We should count the number. Well, I can just, yeah, I can just run it through RenderDoc to see how much stuff we are rendering. I think every block is around 2000 polys. So that's going to be 5 times 5. It's usually spanning across two layers. And then we have, yeah, we have around 50 chunks by 2000. It's already 100,000. Yeah, it's probably more than this. Yeah, because maybe. Let's just try to run it. It's more than 2000. It's like 3000 because it's spanning between 3 and 4. It is around 3000. So that's already a bit more. And how many chunks is it rendering? So it starts at 16 and it ends at 400. Yeah, it's a bit more than that. A bit more than 50. 400, let's say 300 times 3000, and it's already a million. Yeah, that makes sense. A million polys is a million vertices is a bit too much for the headset. We need to optimize, and I think this is going to be our work for the next stream. So memory management wise, today it went pretty well. We have it synchronized, and the only thing is the generation. So maybe one last thing I can check into is the change after I've changed the coordinate system. It's generating the world a bit in a weird way. I'm not getting a clean sine wave anymore. So this is not clean in any way. And one thing that I can do is to go into the generation and say that instead of this complex function, let me break it down into like only one component, and the frequency is only going to be 1. So since it's a bit blocky, I should make the frequency a bit lower, and the height is fine. Well, it could be even lower. Okay, this looks fine. So on this side, it looks like it's doing a good job on this axis. On the z-axis, on the other hand, it could be broken. X, Y, and Z. Yeah, it looks like the z-axis is where things are not matching. Yeah. This is not correct. What is happening? Why is the Z so broken? This is Z. What does it do with the Z? So that's the location. Z. Because Z should be moving backwards. Okay. So Z should be negative. Oh. It could work. Okay. It did work. It did work indeed. Wow. I didn't expect to be that fast to fix the issue. So if I go back to the first generation function and maybe tweak it a little bit. So we don't want to be too high our frequency. And maybe it's a bit too tall. Let's just make it 5 blocks high, which is in total being which in total will be from -5 to 5, so it's 10 blocks tall anyway. Okay. Yay! This looks super nice. It's not a real terrain, but except for the weird flickering, it looks nice. I don't think the flickering will come out very good in the video compression. But yeah, I can see an increase in bit rate. But it looks super nice. There's only, yeah, there is. Oh boy. How can I improve the shader? So the problem is this frac. And what can I use? The world projection. Can I use the world space? I could use the world space position. It might not be as stable anyway. Yeah, whatever. I think I'm done for today. Quite happy about the result. It is super nice. Last thing that I want to test is on the device again. So I'm gonna enjoy one last ride before terminating. Nice. It does look good. So if I make these chunks a bit, these blocks a bit bigger, then I can probably fit more of them in here, because they feel a bit too small right now. They are in the order of like one, like I don't know, one head, one hand. They feel like they are one hand size. Well, that should be at least half meter cube. Yeah, I feel like they should be a bit bigger, because scale is something hard to get right unless you keep everything like nice and clean. And I want to use the meter system in this case. But overall, it's not that bad, since we have a lot of faces that we can call. So these are all faces, and especially in the draw call, there are so many draw calls that we can cut down and clamp together. So right now every chunk is a draw call, which is a nice, as you can see here, every chunk we have 400 draw calls, which we don't really need, and we can clamp all of them together into a single draw call, into a single instanced draw call. That should be quite easy, and sounds like a good topic for the next stream. Okay, all good then. Last thing that I want to do, commit with a nice message. What have we done here? We cleaned up, so implement touch thumbstick, touch thumbsticks, then buffer synchronize the buffer distraction. That's pretty much it. Did we do anything else? Yeah, those are the main things that I've implemented in this episode. Commit. Now it's available for everyone to try. And we are done. Yeah, it is time to go. What's up? Just started my first game using C#. Been thinking about streaming to force myself to work more. Yeah, it does. It does help, especially if you want, if you're not native English and speaker. It kind of helps getting more fluent, and that is one of the main reasons I do streaming, and especially yeah, it also keeps you sticking with because you know there are people watching you, so that's kind of a pressure. But sometimes you also get distracted if the chat is too much active. Yeah, you just got here. If you subscribe, Martin, you can get here the next time in time. Since we have things to do, look at this. We still have something to figure out. The cube's index buffer, so that is not fully solved. But it's cool that we have other things to do. All right. See you next time. Have a good night for who's going to sleep, and a good day for who just got in the new day. Bye, everyone.